Welcome to the Armani Talks YouTube channel. I'm your host, Armani Talks. In this channel, I'm helping you level up your communication skills. In this episode, I'm going to be discussing why smart people play dumb. And I'm going to take it a level further. I'm going to encourage you, especially if you're someone who considers yourself intelligent, to dumb it down a little. So around a year or two ago, I ended up writing a tweet, which we're going to be breaking down in today's episode. And the tweet went like this: life irony. A dumb person pretends to be smarter than they are. A smart person pretends to be dumber than they are. The dumb person is unaware of their behavior. The smart person is perfectly aware. And once I wrote this tweet, there was a segment of the audience who understood what I was saying. They started retweeting it, and plenty were agreeing with it. I too am one of these smart people who are pretending to be dumb. And there was another segment of the audience who shot me a DM, and they were confused. They were like, why would I want to be smart, play dumb? It doesn't make much sense to me. Well, in this tweet, I was trying to get 3 tiered messages across: humility, simplicity, and ingenuity. These are the 3 elements of why smart people at times play dumb. And if you can understand these 3 principles, then you'll start to improve your communication skills, and you'll start to avoid a lot of the negative behaviors that you often see very, very intelligent people often making. So let's get started off with the first one: humility. You ever had that one moment when you had the story that you wanted to tell someone? In your world, you felt like you knew this story and you were going to break the news to someone. As soon as you go to this person, you're like, bro, did you hear about such and such? Before you can even tell the story, this person is like, I know, I already heard about that. And before you can even get started, they kill your buzz. I used to have a roommate like that. He knew sports extremely well, and any time that I wanted to break a story to him, he was always updated, and he always had to make it known that he was updated. Now granted, you don't want someone consistently repeating the same story to you over and over again, but every now and then, even if you did hear the story, it's good to play dumb. It's good to be like, oh, I didn't hear about that. Go on and share your story. Why? It's because humans naturally like to share information. You even see it with the media. And with the media, at times, they'll jump on a certain story and they want to be the first. Why? In the world of communication, the whole act of being the first to break a story, it's very similar to hearing your name. It's very pleasurable for the person that is breaking that news. But here's the thing. If you're someone who lacks humility, you want to be the first one yourself. A part of you may be like, wait a minute. If I say that I haven't heard of the story before, then it means that I'm second place or third place, fourth, fifth, or who knows, even worse. And this is one of the reasons why, even if you are smart, play dumb. Someone who lacks humility finds this extremely difficult. They're like, man, you want me to say that I don't know a story of something that I've heard? Impossible. While charismatic people initially did not find this an easy task either, but they stuck with it. And the more they stuck with it, the more they understood that by letting the other person think that they were number one, they're having those pleasurable emotions that they are subconsciously attaching to this individual. So this was one of the first meanings of why smart people sometimes play dumb, because they're charismatic. That's number 1, humility. Number 2 is simplicity. A couple of years ago at work, I had to learn about the operating system in a computer. I had to learn about Unix and all this kind of stuff. Overall, I thought it was pretty boring. My trainer for that event was this guy in his mid-50s, and he loved the operating system. Like, you could tell that this was his passion, and you could tell he was basically making a living doing his passion. Cool, I'm happy for you. But there was a problem. This guy would just keep talking and talking and talking, proving to us how much he knew about the operating system. And anytime someone would ask him a question, he would start answering the question and then get caught up in all these little details, confusing us. Analogy. This whole act of what this guy is doing is extremely similar to you going on Google. You go on Google and you want to learn how to make lasagna. So you type in Google, how do I make lasagna? Now imagine if Google spits out, this is how you make lasagna. But just so you know, I also have the answers for how to make shepherd's pie, how to make beef curry, how to make Thai soup. Isn't that too much? Did I ask you for all that other stuff? No, I just asked you for one recipe. So this is another case of when we may be extremely smart, but this case of dumbing down is being extremely simple with our message. Rather than saying a whole bunch of nonsense, a whole bunch of stuff speaking from our ego, we're able to factor in the other individual and niche it down to give them the recipe that they were searching for. So this is the second part of the message, simplicity. And the final part is ingenuity. Every time that I get done with one of these YouTube videos or podcasts or tweets, whatever, any content creator or any storyteller, sometimes they think, am I starting to run out of ideas? This is something that's completely normal. This is when the logical side is trying to override the creative side. So in a case like this, extremely creative people know the art of saying, I don't know anything, I'm just getting started. And simply by framing themselves as people that have yet to know anything, even to the outside world, they seem like they have a lot of the answers. In the internal narrative, they're creating the whole, I don't know anything, man. I'm a lot dumber than I think I am. What they're actually doing is they're conditioning commands to the subconscious mind, which is saying, yo, keep learning more. Keep learning more. So this is a case of this individual being perfectly aware of intentionally being dumb. But not dumb in, oh, I'm a doofus. Dumb in a way where it's conditioning, yo, you got a lot more to learn. Do not get content yet. This amplifies hunger and skyrockets ambition and builds a process of connecting ideas in a very innovative fashion. So these are the three tiers of why a lot of smart people act dumb. Oftentimes, when we hear the phrase dumb, we immediately think that, oh, well, I don't want to be like that. We're focusing too much on the word rather than the act. We're not saying, hey, dumb down the content of your message. We're saying, simplify your delivery. We're saying, be a little bit more humble. Learn the art of not always having to be the first person, especially in a social interaction. And we're also saying, in terms of being dumb, frame yourself in context to the bigger picture, in context to the universe. So when you see the grand picture, immediately there's a sense of, man, I don't know anything yet. This is how extremely smart, charismatic, and charming people are born. The whole myth of you could either be extremely smart or you could be good with social skills, just one or the other, is an illusion. The true sign of intelligence is being able to do both at the same damn time. So if you are someone who is being a little too smart for your own good, that is not something that's good. That's actually something that's extremely bad. So learn the art of dumbing it down, because there's plenty of people who you consider idiotic that are extremely intelligent. You're just not aware of it yet. Thank you for joining the Armani Talks YouTube channel, and I'll catch you on the next episode.